Wait a minute, I hear something.
Dr. Luby! Dr. Luby! Blueberry News! Dr. Luby! Dr. Luby! Yeah!
Hey-o! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Movie, where I'm trying to talk about movies and drive with one headlight. I've got a headlight out this morning. Yes, this show is done from the cockpit of my car. And just a way to use the time wisely, I guess is what they would say. Talking about movies. And this next one today, well, it's a movie. We are looking at the 1986/87. There's not a clear verification of what year this actually came out. But 86/87, Zombie Nightmare. With a title like that, you just, you see the artwork, you're like, okay, why not? Let's check it out. So that's what happened. And we are looking at this. It is considered a horror/fantasy. I don't know. I don't understand the whole fantasy part. But, we'll see. And actually, the whole nightmare part, I don't really understand that either, because I don't really know that it's a nightmare of any kind. Brought to you by director, what is his name? Jack Bradman. If you don't know Jack Bradman, well, that's okay, because he's the one that brought us Night of the Dribbler. Let's look. What else? Night of the Dribbler. We've got the Snuff. Remember the film Snuff that people used to talk about quite a bit? Miami Vice Girls, Bimbo, all in the Sex Family. This guy used to make like X-rated films in the 70s, and I guess broke away from that and decided to make real movies, and he gave us Zombie Nightmare. Yeah. There's a movie on here called Girl Busters too, so I'm not even going to look that up. Just saying. Super low budget. Made in, like I said, it says May 29th, 1986. The music was composed by John Mickey Thor. So if you know who that is, Rock and Roll Nightmare, right? Our lead in that, Thor, right? He had a band called Thor. If you haven't seen Rock and Roll Nightmare, I kind of recommend it. I mean, it's a so-called horror movie as well. Let's put it this way: it was a short bus cinema movie, right? And this one is too, no doubt. This movie would fit perfectly on the format that I'm sure Johnny would have brought this movie up, because it is right up our alley of what we were covering on that show. Let's look at our cast. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see what it says. Reasons why to watch. Somebody said it's savage, scary, and gruesome. Yeah, I don't know that it's any of those. It says it's got a fun soundtrack, passable kills, and a few amazing supporting performances. Yeah, I can get behind that. This is worth a look, since it's oh so bad but oh so good. I find it to be an entertaining bad movie. Yeah, that's kind of where I put it too. Like I said, it's perfect for short bus cinema. We would have had a hoot with this one. Let's talk about our cast. We do have John Mickey Thor in this again, playing Tony Washington. And wait a minute, hold the press. We've got Adam West in this movie. So you think about 86, 87, what was Adam West doing? Not a lot. So you talk him into being in your movie. This has got a very young Tia Carrere in it too. And of course, I'm a Tia Carrere fan, always have been. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, I believe that's Tia Carrere. And sure enough, it was. She just plays a teenager in this. There's not really anybody else to talk about in this one. But, for a super low budget movie, that's a pretty good little cast. I mean, there's other people for sure. It's mainly focused on some teenagers, right? I mean, that's what this whole movie is based on. Here's the thing about this movie. I didn't even read a synopsis, did I? Let's do that real quick. All right, here you go. Here's your synopsis for this movie. Voodoo brings back a hit-and-run victim with a baseball bat for revenge on rapist and a police chief. There you go. That's the kind of movie you get in here, folks. Really, to kind of break this movie down, it's basically it's Pumpkinhead. It's Pumpkinhead in the suburb on a super low budget. Not that, I mean, Pumpkinhead was already pretty low budget as it was. Amazing movie, by the way. One of my favorites. One of my favorite monster movies ever. But yeah, it's basically the revenge story, right? So this young man, he's a baseball player, which, well, let's start off from the very beginning. I know we said that Thor did some of the soundtrack stuff, but man, this movie's got Motorhead in it, Girl School, a lot of other 80s metal bands that I was like, wow, how'd they get the rights to do this? Because when you start off the movie and you're playing Ace of Spades by Motorhead, I'm like, okay. So obviously either the director knew somebody, or a producer did, or somebody. It says the budget was $180,000. Yeah, I imagine a chunk of that went to the soundtrack. But yeah, this young man, baseball player, which you totally know because the first, 4 minutes of this film is watching a ball game, and it breaks away to the young man leaving his house one night or one afternoon, and his mom's like, hey, be careful out tonight and stuff, and he's like, yeah, I will. And he's a built up dude too. Of course, it's Thor, right? I mean, but he goes to a convenience store that's being robbed by your typical 80s bad guys, a guy with, a sleeveless shirt and a mohawk, hanging out with a dude in a flannel shirt, your typical bad guys in the 80s. And he ends up helping stop the bad guys, right? So he's a do-gooder, right? A good Samaritan. And when he gets through, he buys his stuff, or actually the guy gives him a bunch of stuff for saving him being robbed. Here, take this stuff and give it to your mom. So obviously, it seems like a small community where everybody kind of knows each other. When he walks out of the building, there's a group of teenagers that are riding around, and they're just wild bucks, right? And they accidentally hit this guy. It's a hit and run, right? And it kills him, leaves him on the side of the road. And you get the development of this group of teenagers, which Tia Carrere is the girlfriend of one of the guys in the group. And, they're rough and tumble kids, man. And what's funny is, obviously, they look like your spoiled suburban kids, right? Because they're not just riding around in little jalopy cars and stuff. They're riding in, pretty nice vehicles. And the one driving it, which I have to admit has some pretty cool hair, right? But he's the one that runs over the guy, and comes from a wealthy family, and he ends up telling the guy that he enjoyed hitting the guy and killing him because being able to just take somebody's life just made him feel powerful, right? So one of those guys. Well, the store owner comes out when the boy gets hit, and I think the cops eventually show up. And here's the crazy thing. Instead of, picking up his body and taking him to the hospital and, letting the coroners do their work to him and then have the mom come in and recognize him, they take the body to his house, to the mom's house. And she comes out screaming, my boy, my baby, that stuff, right? But, why would an ambulance drive to the house? That doesn't happen. But anyways, That's the way it happens in this movie because she keeps the body because they let you do that. And so she calls some of the locals there and says, "Go get, I don't know, Miss Bobby Boucher. I don't know what her name is. Some crazy, Louisianan voodoo name, right?" And calls her over and wants her to, put a curse on those people. So what does she do? She does the old pumpkin head here, right? She uses voodoo to bring the boy back, and he has visions, I guess, of the people in the car, even though they hit him doing, 45 miles an hour. He's going to remember everybody that was sitting in the front seat and back seats of the car and get revenge on them. Now, this is not set up to where you see a flash forward of him almost being hit and being able to see everybody in the car. We're just assuming that he saw everybody in the car. So, realistically, he could go around and kill a whole bunch of people thinking, well, they could have been in the car. I don't know. Which kind of happens, I guess. What it ends up is you get wealthy parents that try to cover up their kids are involved in anything. Like I said, the main boy that's, driving the car, he, it's funny, he runs over the dude, goes back home that night, wakes up the next day. His mom's mad because there's now something messed up on the car. And when he leaves the house, which he's cruel to his mom, he's an awful kid, tries to stab somebody at the beginning of the movie at an art gallery or something. They're just hanging out there. It's just, they're painting this guy to be a bad dude, right? And, but when he leaves this house, he just jumps in a brand new Porsche and takes off driving. You're like, yeah, this guy's got it rough. And, which he spends, 3 minutes of the movie just driving around. I mean, you're literally, watching him drive for about 3 minutes of this movie. So again, you got some filler going on, right? But anyways, the voodoo lady basically goes in the backyard of the mom's house, where her son got killed, and does this ceremony, I guess. I don't know the location, but it just seems like it's still just kind of out in the open in the middle of a small town. Which, if you're that brave, go ahead. But raises him back from the dead, and he's going to get revenge on all these kids and anybody else that gets in his way. And his weapon of choice, you got it, an aluminum baseball bat. The dude came back from the dead. He's got, pumpkin head strength. He's really strong, but he's going to use a baseball bat. I don't know. I guess they're trying to tie the whole baseball thing in there for some reason. So you got, sorry, that was a yawn. I'm still waking up this morning. Adam West is the police chief of the town, and you got this investigator that's, working under him that's wanting to try to figure out what's happening here because somebody's going around and snapping the necks of these kids or strangling them, and they got superhuman strength, and doesn't make any sense because, nobody has that kind of strength. And he finally puts it together by, he has some pictures of all the crime scenes, and he notices in every picture the voodoo lady's there. Of course, that's it. That's what. But yeah, he puts it together that this voodoo lady shows up everywhere, wherever there's a crime scene, so she's attached. And it's a mail truck. Not a, postal mail truck, not a mail truck. Just saying. So yeah, we get this lunatic running around whose face kind of looks like Frankenstein with a baseball bat, chasing these kids down and killing them one by one, either by strangling them or beating them to death with a baseball bat. The effects are not great. They're passable because you understand what happened, but you don't see any like really good effects. I mean, he does stab our main kid in the stomach with the baseball bat, and he dies with it sticking up out of him, but you don't really see anything. It's just like, I don't know, these effects are almost like teenage kids trying to pull a prank on somebody kind of effects, right? That's kind of what it looks like. But lo and behold, when it all comes down to the end, you find out that years ago there was a cover-up from the police chief, and he was involved with, all this mess too. And in order to protect his family and the rich kid's family and all this stuff, he has to kill the voodoo lady. And the investigator that works under him is there as well. So Adam West is going to have to shoot not only the investigator that works for him, but shoot the voodoo lady too. And they're out in a graveyard. And all of a sudden, a zombie comes up out of the ground and yells out Adam West's name and grabs him and pulls him down into a grave. And that's how this movie ends. And I guess, our hero is dead too, because I guess he did his job. Maybe he got all of his vengeance out. I don't know. So there you go. That's what's the name of this movie again? Zombie Nightmare. It was okay. Like I said, this is a 100% short bus cinema movie. If you like bad movies, I think you'll enjoy this one. The acting's okay. Most of this movie is okay. It's just super low budget. So if you enjoy low budget, low grade movies, B movies, it's worth checking out. I had fun with it. It's not anything new, and you can tell that the locations are hey, we can shoot this in my backyard and nobody will have to know, that kind of thing. So that's the extent of this movie. That is Zombie Nightmare from 1986. I'll give this a 2 out of 5. Maybe a 3 out of 5. I mean, it was okay. I liked it. It's not great, but I liked it. All right, folks, that's all I got for this one. We will see you next time.